Good afternoon, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle Happy Medium, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you are well here. And in this video tutorial up for discussion today, we're going to talk a little bit about the power of the breath. Now, this is a really important topic and one that we hear a lot of the time talked about in like meditations or sitting in the power, or, even when you're doing mediumship development or your communications from the spirit world. And for me, sometimes I don't think it's always, talked about in enough so that people understand what that terminology really means. And I know for myself, sometimes when I'm out in the industry, being dyslexic and using these big sort of words, it can sort of throw your mind, and you sort of have to go away and sort of find out for yourself like what that means. And a lot of students, including a coaching circle I did on Tuesday evening, a girl was in there and she'd said she had raked around all over, on YouTube, certain social medias, whatever it may be there. And nobody had explained a particular topic for her until she'd watched one of my videos. So I do really like to try and break the terminology down for you so it's in bite-sized pieces so that you understand it. It's great if you're really analytical and you're really good with English and you're sort of really into that type of thing. But for me personally, sometimes I have to find another terminology or another way in order to understand it. So in this video or tutorial, we're going to talk about the power of the breath. What is the power of the breath? So the power of the breath is you. And it is when you're sitting in the power, your breath is moving in and out, or sitting in the power, whichever terminology you want to use there. And this gives you some sort of rhythm. Now, lots of people, when they're meditating or sitting in the power, the conscious mind, the monkey mind, it might be another terminology you've heard, the us mind, or the person, so you watching me, is busy with the day-to-day things, and it can get very busy, especially if you're living quite a busy life, which I'm sure lots of you on the channel here are. So what happens is that's the terminology for that. And what the power of the breath does is as we start to sit and we start to slow the mind down, the power of the breath helps us to slow the mind down, starts to help us sort of allow that to dissipate, or that busyness to dissipate to an extent where we are aware of it, and we just we don't allow it, we just sort of put it there and like to the side of our awareness, and then when we're finished we can pick it back up, if this makes sense. So when we're sitting in the power of meditation, the power of the breath helps us, one, to sort of calm down. It sort of helps the anxiety sort of starts to drop. So I was going to use a bit of my nursing background here, or my medical field background. For many of you who maybe suffer with anxiety, or for those who suffer with post-traumatic stress, or those who struggle sometimes to be able to, or panic attacks is another one, we'll use what we call a brown paper bag. Now, what this does is regulates the breath, and actually the noise of the bag gives your conscious mind something to focus on instead of on the things that are making you anxious or the things that are making you panic. It is helping your mind to slow, to help you become more regulated. And it also helps the body to become aware that there's nothing to be fearful of. And it actually brings the breath back into a natural rhythm. And that's basically what power of the breath is. We're finding your natural rhythm, where when we're sitting sort of in that meditative state, or that sitting in the power state, we are, finding that natural rhythm, which is you. So it's the power of the breath. Now, if we want to look at what does it do? So what does it help with? So one, just going back to the little sort of subject matter topic there, it helps to sort of regulate, puts the fear sort of one side. It allows you to explore your world, which is the physical world, the psychic world. Or if you're shifting of the mind, remember, is just a movement of your thought-based matter from the psychic to the mediumship. It allows you to explore the spirit world without fear sort of getting involved. Also, imagination there can also play a part here, because we've got to remember that imagination is always at play. And what the power of the breath does is allows us to explore areas in a very comfortable and very easy way for us to manage. Now, what we can also then do is use this power of the breath a little more. So we're going to start extend it a little bit more. So when you're doing your communications, the power of the breath is really, really good. And I think I've spoke quite heavily on the channel here about when we're doing communications, especially when we get a no, or sometimes when somebody's not taking our information. What'll happen is our breath will change, and it'll change because the fear, a slight bit of fear, oh, I've got it wrong, or oh my God, what am I going to do? And that's okay when we're owning it and things, and you're confident in your mediumship and things. But when you're starting out, it can be a little sort of, it'll throw you. And what the power of the breath gives is it allows you an opportunity to take a breath and then start again, or take your mind back to the spirit world. Now, you can use this in your open circles, your coaching circles, even if so out there demonstrating. And another use of the power of the breath is when we are demonstrating. And for me personally, I'm guilty of this. As you probably noticed, I'm a big northern girl with quite a strong personality and quite a fast talk and speech. So I have had to learn over, especially as I've done more and more abroad work, I've had to learn to use the power of the breath a little bit more. So what the power of the breath allows me is an extra couple of seconds before I give my next statement. The power of the breath allows me to just take a moment and then carry on, so that my people in front of me are allowing them an opportunity to hear what I'm saying, sort of to dial in through their mind, and then they can then give me back a yes or a no. So there's a couple of really helpful hints and tips here with the power of the breath, and it's one that isn't used as much as I'd like to see. And I see quite a lot within my coaching circles and online circles that I host, that the students, because they're so nervous, the stuttering, and there's all sorts going on, and it's because they haven't got this regulation of the breath, and learning that breath will slow that anxiety down, it'll slow that fear down. And even when you're in your meditation, if you feel you're starting to become a little fearful, or you're sitting in the power, go back to the breath, and then go back to the spirit world, or go back to your psychic work. And that will help to keep things nice and steady for you, and it'll allow the conscious mind to think there's nothing to worry about. And even if we're not so much even looking at mediumship, even for your day-to-day people, it's really important we monitor our breath. Monitoring the breath, especially when I'm having an argument with somebody, can be really helpful. Excuse me. Because what it does is it allows you to slow down just a notch, or just take sort of step away. So when you're having a bit of an argument with somebody, or you're not quite happy with something, or it's something that you're displeased with, the best thing to do is take a breath, which allows you to step back from the said scenario, and then you can go back with a little bit more of a calmer mind, or a little bit more of a bigger awareness or understanding. So it's really, really important, the power of the breath. It's really important within your mediumship. It's good for you, the instrument. It's really good for keeping a handle on what you're doing, especially when you're doing your sitting in the power and things as well, because the more you're keeping your mind with the breath, you're sort of giving more allowance to the spirit world, or to your psychic work, whichever you're doing. It's allowing you to have more of an understanding of how in control you are. And you are in control as the medium, but if you're not in control of your breath, you can be sort of quite scattered, or sort of very all over the place. Excuse me. So certainly have a look at this one. I hope this terminology has helped break it down for people a little bit more. I know there's lots of people who see a lot of jargon out there and don't really understand it. And I think from a perspective of myself, it's really important that we explore these topic matters to the best of their ability. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do, give me some comments in the box. Let me know how it is that you find the power of the breath for you. How do you find it within your meditations, or within your sitting in the power, or even when you're doing, your circle work or your demonstration work. Let me know how this works for you, or if you already do this in your mediumship, where do you sit within them parameters? I like to hear what you've got to say. Also, give the video a thumbs up. Please do share with friends. It helps with the channel. And I'll see you at the weekend. I hope you are well, and take care of yourselves, and see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.